Are you ready to feel and look younger? Feeling wired, tired, and overwhelmed? Younger with Dr. Robin Benson will help you turn back the clock. Feel better, look sexier, improve your brain power, and activate your younger DNA potential. Welcome to Younger with the latest from science and top health experts worldwide. Here is your host, Dr. Robin Benson.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to this very exciting episode of Younger. I'm thrilled to introduce to you my new dear friend, Gary Zukav. So, oh my goodness, it was amazing. I led a women's retreat to Chile earlier this year, Sacred Embodiment and Self-Mastery Retreat. It was incredible. And we were so blessed to have time with Gary Zukav while we're there the whole week. And I just love how nature would have it that I would just serendipitously run into Gary just walking to meals. And I just had so many beautiful conversations with Gary. And I thought, oh my gosh, I just want to bring his essence, his spirit, his wisdom, his being to all of you. And before I bring him to this conversation, I'll tell you a little bit about Gary Zukav. He's a renowned spiritual teacher and an author of 4 consecutive New York Times bestsellers. He's a Harvard graduate and former Green Beret. His profound experiences in Vietnam deeply influenced his philosophical and spiritual outlook. Gary first rose in prominence with his book in 1979 called The Dancing Wu-Li Masters, an exploration of quantum physics that won the American Book Award for Science. His seminal work, The Seat of the Soul, published in 1989, has captivated millions globally with its insights into the alignment of personality and soul, advocating for personal and spiritual evolution. You may also have seen Gary Zukav on numerous TV shows, including Oprah Winfrey's Super Soul Sunday. So Gary, along with his spiritual partner, Linda Francis, oh my goodness, I loved learning about your wife, Linda, founded the Seat of the Soul Institute in Ashland, Oregon, which is dedicated to helping people across the globe to create meaning, purpose, and creativity in their lives. His teachings emphasize the development of emotional awareness, the pursuit of authentic power, and the recognition of our personal creation as part of the universe's evolutionary process. Gary, thank you so much for being here with all of us today.
You're welcome. I'm glad to be here.
I'm just so delighted to just see you. It's been a couple months since we were together in Chile at Alberto Villota and Marcela Lobo's beautiful sanctuary there. That was a life-changing experience for me, for sure, and for all the women that said yes to be part of this transformation that we went through. Oh my goodness. As I mentioned, I had so many wonderful conversations with you, and I thought I would just love to share some time with you and my wonderful audience here. And the theme of this podcast is about aging, about younger. How do we grow younger naturally? And consciousness, right? Our consciousness, our spirit, our engagement, our dance with life is, in my opinion, everything. And I'm sure you certainly know that you'll have much to share on this topic. So thank you again for being with us today.
You're welcome. It's lovely to be with you again, Robin.
Aww.
Thank you for inviting me.
Yay. Gosh, I've been reading so many of your books, and I read The Seed of the Soul long ago. And I thought maybe we'd just start with a couple questions, because that was one of your earlier books and the one that really captured a global attention. But in that, you discuss the concept of multi-sensory perception extensively. Can you explain what this is exactly, and how this concept has evolved in your thinking since you first published this book?
It hasn't evolved in my thinking, although I have come to understand it and to recognize it and to experience it better and in deeper ways. I would also like to say to those of you who are listening to Robin and me that if you resonate with anything that I share with you, I suggest that you experiment with it. I would also suggest that you not accept it as true simply because I say it. In fact, I would suggest that you not accept anything that anyone says is true just because they've been on television or written books or have a congregation. In my experience, there is a species-wide transformation of consciousness that is happening now. It's epic, and it's unprecedented. The old consciousness was confined to the five senses, to what can be seen and touched and tasted and smelt and seen. And from the old consciousness, nothing that could not be detected by these five senses existed. It was not real. And the understanding of power that individuals who were limited to the five senses had was the ability to manipulate and to control. That's the only understanding of power that a five-sensory species could have. Now, big change is happening. The entire species, our entire species, is experiencing a new consciousness over a very short period of time. And it's happening very fast. When the seed of the soul was written, I could say then it's going to happen within the next 3 generations. Now one of those generations have come and another is coming. So it's no longer the reality that we're going to be experiencing a transformation in human consciousness. It's happening. It's here. It's now. And the question is, how can you recognize it? How can you recognize what you are in it? And what do you want to do?
Exactly. It definitely is happening. And I think that most of us now
How do you see it happening?
we are in a great awakening is how I see it. Just in my 30 years of being in practice and working with people, and now I'm in, 58-year-old woman, to seeing that people are awakening out of a trance of a feeling that they are not for that the ego running their lives, and realizing that, wow, I'm part of something much bigger than I ever thought I was. And it's not just like people as we age. I think there's natural wisdom that we gain, but even when I talk to my 20-year-old son and daughters, there's the consciousness of the, like, realizing that there's so much more to this life than meets the eyes in the 3D reality, that we're part of this universal flow of energy, that the interconnectedness of all of us.
Well, in my experience, it's not necessarily the case that wisdom increases with age. In fact,
That's definitely the truth.
I've seen many people who are quite old. Their bodies are old, and they're still the same as they were years ago. And as they come closer to their death, they ask themselves, why me, not now? However, let's start with, for me, what's basic about this. The podcast is called Younger. From the new consciousness, you are not merely a body and a mind. You have an immortal aspect, a component of your personality that existed before you were born and that will exist after you die. We can call that the soul. In India, they would call it Atman. If that means something to you, if you resonate with that, that is a multi-sensory perception. If you feel that the world around you is more than random, that you can learn about yourself from the world, that's a multi-sensory perception. If you find that you know things about people that your five senses did not tell you and that could not provide for you, that is a multi-sensory perception. The new consciousness is not only not limited by the five senses, but it has a new understanding of power. And that is the alignment of the personality with the soul, which means with harmony and cooperation and sharing and reverence for life. With this new understanding of power does not come the power itself. It is a potential that is new to our new consciousness. The new consciousness is a gift from the universe. The potential of authentic power is also a gift from the universe, but one that you must bring into being. And that's what I love to talk about. How do you create authentic power? When I put the word authentic with the word power, it means having to do with the soul. So why is it that some people don't change over the course of a lifetime, and some change dramatically. Right now, as I mentioned, there are many people who are acquiring this new consciousness. They were born with five sensory awareness, like I was, and this new consciousness is now a part of who they are. And there are thousands of millions of neonates that are being born with a new consciousness. They don't have an old consciousness to contrast with. So we can help understand where they are and why the world that they've inherited is as it is. It's crumbling. It's disintegrating. It cannot be repaired. It's not broken, although it appears to be completely broken in many ways. It's not. It's obsolete. It has no further use to us. It does not serve our evolution, and therefore it's becoming dysfunctional, and it has no salvage value. Those people who use the new conscious. So, by the way, I do not believe that any of the people listening to us are five sensory, or they would have tuned out by now.
Mm-hmm.
So those who are here, I say this. If you look at your personality, it's not a simple or a monolithic thing that sometimes is happy and sometimes is sad. It is complex. It's like a mandala. It's got many different pieces or aspects. Some are happy, some are depressed. Some are ebullient, some are angry. Some are patient, some are resentful. And to create authentic power requires you to be able to distinguish among these different parts of your personality and to separate those that originate in fear and those such as, for example, anger, judgment, resentment, competitiveness, superiority, need to please, superiority, entitlement, every compulsion, obsession, and addiction. All of these are experiences that we can put in one basket and call fear. And then we have parts of our personalities that originate in love. And we experience those as gratitude, patience, contentment, caring, appreciation, awe of the universe. To create authentic power requires experiencing your emotions deeply, somatically, in terms of your body. And they will tell you whether you are in fear or whether you are in love. So, in other words, emotions are very important in creating authentic power. That means the heart is very important. When you are upset about something, maybe you're jealous or you feel betrayed or anything that upsets you or gives you emotional disturbance, look inside yourself and put your attention not on the world that appears to be causing this disturbance, because the disturbance is not being caused by the world. The world is activating an internal dynamic in you.
Mm-hmm.
And that internal dynamic is generating the experiences of pain or bliss, of fear or love. So when you look inside yourself, when you cease trying to change the world to relieve yourself of your pain and look inside, you develop the ability you are developing. That's the first step in the ability to change yourself in the most meaningful way, to change your life in permanent ways. So I've said a lot now. Do you have any questions, or I can continue?
I would like to keep listening to you, Gary, as you talk about this. I mean, to really deeply experience our emotional body is not easy, right? I mean, we find all kinds of ways to suppress pain, right? Be it something fearful or you abandonment. I mean, there's so many emotions that we live in this earth life suit, right? And you're talking about authentic power. Like, I know throughout your books you just give so many examples of ways in which people can be here now in the midst of these storms and realize, like you said earlier, that it's not the outer world. It might look like it's what's causing your emotions, but it has to do with your reaction. It's something to look back at it yourself, right?
Yes, that is the heart of what I've said. It's let me give you an example. When you're feeling upset, put your attention inside yourself. That's what I mentioned doing. That means put your attention inside, to start with your throat, your chest, and your solar plexus. Now, these are your 3 of your 7 energy processing centers. In the East, they're called chakras. So these are the 3 energy processing centers that I've discovered are the easiest to recognize physical sensations in, because that's what you're looking for, physical sensations. So if I say, what are you feeling in your chest? And you might say to me, heavy, or gloomy, or light, or gay. That is not, that is emotional illiteracy.
Mm-hmm.
Emotional literacy requires identifying physical sensations in your energy processing centers. So if they hurt, how do they hurt? Are they aching, throbbing, stabbing, churning, burning, stinging? When you can say, a frightened part of my personality I got a pain in my upper right chest, a stabbing pain like an ice pick. And say I've got a contraction in my throat, just above my chest, about the size of a ping pong ball, and it hurts. And in my solar plexus, which is the area just below your sternum, there's a burning sensation throughout. Now you're becoming emotionally literate. And while you're doing this, you can notice what thoughts this frightened part of your personality is thinking. And they'll always be judgmental or critical. I can't do this. I'm not good enough to do this. I already know all this. Why are they even talking about it? Everybody knows this. And other thoughts such as, she's so stupid, or I'm so stupid. These are the thoughts the frightened parts of your personality think. As you become aware of all of that, the physical sensations in your energy processing centers, and the thoughts that this frightened part of your personality is thinking, that is emotional awareness. While you are aware of all of that, use your willpower, your volition, to move your attention into a loving part of your personality. You can go back to a time, or into a time, not back, just into a time or an experience when you were loved and loving. You knew that. Could be with a child, a parent, a grandparent. And then choose to act from that loving part of your personality rather than the frightened part of your personality while you are experiencing the physical sensations and the thoughts of the frightened part. That is the moment of creating authentic power.
Wow.
And the more you do that repeatedly, again and again, that frightened part of your personality begins to lose its control over you. And eventually, its control over you lessens and then evaporates. This is what Linda and I are teaching and have taught for 30 or 40 years, or 27 years to be precise.
Wow, that's so beautiful, Gary. So pretty much over the last 27 years, I mean, you've been teaching this, but you also are living a life where you're living in authentic power.
I live
You're
with
not
them.
transcending them.
No, I am not transcending them in me. They are
They're
in
in
you.
you.
Every personality. And if you're in the Earth School, you have a personality. Every personality has frightened and loving parts. I have them. You have them. Everyone who's listening to us has them. They're not going to disappear.
Do they ever
discuss,
disappear?
we can discuss the word ever in a few moments.
Okay.
Everyone has frightened and loving parts. A frightened part of your personality is an expression, you might say, of something that everyone that's human shares. We can call it the pain of powerlessness. The pain of powerlessness is the experience of feeling unworthy, feeling as though you're unlovable, feeling as though you want to love, but you're not capable of loving, feeling that you don't want people to see the way you are inside as you do, because if they did, they wouldn't want anything to do with you. It's the feeling that you're inherently flawed or intrinsically defective, and it's excruciating. 5 sensory humans have the pain of powerlessness in them, and multisensory humans have the pain of powerlessness in them. When 5 sensory humans experience the pain of powerlessness, anger, fear, depression, resentment, competitiveness, they reach outward to try to change the world. As we talked a little bit about that a moment ago.
Mm-hmm.
When multisensory individuals experience the pain of powerlessness, they look inward and change themselves. They look at the interior dynamics in them that create these experiences of pain and powerlessness, and they move beyond them. Now you said, so don't they go away, or do they stay forever? They don't go away. They don't have volition. They certainly do have volition when it comes to wanting to change the world. They are frightened parts of your personality. As you challenge them, they begin to lose their control over you. They are not independently existing entities. They are parts of your personality. And as you challenge them and move beyond their control, they cease to be frightened parts of your personality, and they disappear. When you create authentic power, you are creating the ability to distinguish between love and fear in yourself, not in others, and choose love no matter what's going on inside of you or what's going on outside of you. Creating authentic power is a movement toward love, but you're not being moved down a stream like a twig. You are doing the moving. You are applying your volition and your intention to what you do and what you say. And in this way, you are changing your life consciously, not to make it better or worse, but to make it as you choose. In other words, the universe doesn't reward you as you create authentic power, which means essentially love, and it doesn't punish you for not doing that. It's simply that if you do change what you're creating to love, your experiences change, and they become meaningful and constructive and beneficial and joyful and vital. And if you don't create with love, if you create with fear, the opposite happens. The experiences you create for yourself become painful and destructive and unhealthy. And multisensory perception allows you to see all this, Robin.
Mm-hmm.
5 sensory humans don't see it. They think they're going to go to heaven, or at least get the right partner, or at least feel contentment as a reward for doing the right thing. All of those experiences come because you intend them to come. Most people live their lives saying, why me? Why did this happen to me when an unpleasant experience happens? I didn't intend this. You did intend it, but you were not aware of your intention when you said it. Every intention, if you're not aware of it, that's the definition of an unconscious intention. And every unconscious intention is an intention of fear. So to create authentic power, to create love in your life, requires awareness, emotional awareness, and responsible choice. It's not going to happen accidentally. And if you don't make it happen, you won't change. And you can spend an entire lifetime like this. A lifetime. Robin, you can spend 2 lifetimes like this. Robin, you can spend 1,000 lifetimes like this.
Wow.
The Buddhists call this samsara, the wheel of suffering. They also say that the river of suffering is deep and wide. The turn of the head is the other side. What do they mean by that? That puzzled me for years. They mean just what I'm talking about. How you perceive something depends upon how you hold it. How you hold it is either with fear or with love. And that depends on your choice.
Did you know that your body is naturally designed to heal itself? Did you know that with the right biohacks, you can have the advantage of turning back the clock and feel younger than you did 20 years ago? In Dr. Robin Benson's free fast class, she will teach you the top 5 leading edge treatments that will help you grow biologically younger, regain quality of life, prevent disease, and maintain a strong immune system. So go to top5regen.com for a 20-minute fast class and begin your own path to accelerating and supporting your natural birthright of regeneration. That's top5regen.com to discover the keys to live your best life in the body you've always dreamed of.
You are a powerful and compassionate, creative, and loving spirit. You cannot not choose. You are choosing every moment. The choice not to choose is a choice. How will you choose? In love or in fear? What will be your intention? Let's look at the word intention for a moment. An intention is a quality of consciousness. Most people think it's a goal. Like, I intend to have a family. I intend to go to Italy and learn Italian. I intend to be a welder. I intend to become a billionaire by the time I'm 38. I intend. These are not actually intentions. To clarify, they're goals. In the physical world, you might call them out-tensions. You can set an intention like, I intend to be loving. I intend to be happy and joyful. And that will set into motion processes in your life. But in order to become happy and joyful, which means loving, you need to do the work. And the universe will then start to bring into your life circumstances that will help you. And many times those are circumstances that are painful. Because every time you experience a painful emotional experience in your life, that is a gift from the gracious universe that is bringing your attention to something in yourself that you need to experience and move beyond the control of in order to give the gifts you were born to give. And that's where your joy and your vitality and creativity and meaning enter the picture. You can't give the gifts you were born to give when you're angry at someone or jealous or caught in the addictive sexual energy current or need to have food or gamble or watch television. In other words, we're becoming conscious. This is the great transformation in human awareness. As the New Age saying goes, life is no longer happening to us. It's happening for us. What I'm saying to you spells out what that means. And I want to remind all of our listeners of what I suggested at the beginning of our talk. And that is not to take anything that I say as so, simply because I say it. But if I say anything that you resonate with, then experiment with it. Try it out in your life. See what it produces. And if you like that, if it's constructive, experiment again. That's what you have your life for. And if it doesn't produce what you want, let it go. Don't try to wear a shoe that pinches.
Beautiful. So listen to you speak, I feel like I'm just dissolving in the ocean of love. Just any worries of the days, or just all the things, right? All the lists, all the way in which we live life is just so full for so many of us. And we're dealing with lots of different emotions in every given day.
Now, I have a suggestion. I won't make too many, but I love making this one. Can you make that a nice statement?
Oh yeah, make that a nice statement.
A nice statement.
Isn't it wonderful
instead of we, I.
Isn't it wonderful that I, get to wake up to a full day of all kinds of choices, and there's going to be triggers that happen. I work with patients all day long, right? And there's decisions to make, and my desire is to try to allow the universal flow to come through me in my day-to-day interactions. And then there will be times when I get triggered, by something that someone says or a team member. So this dance of life is just full of emotional moments.
It's
Like
full of
you said,
opportunity. It's full
emotional
of opportunity.
opportunity.
Opportunity. Each of those ups and downs that you're calling a dance. And it's so in my experience too. But you can be precise. And as you be precise and use your awareness to use words with the consciousness that you want, you can express this more precisely.
Yeah.
In other words, instead of saying, I get triggered, you can say that. Of course, you can say anything that you choose to express yourself. But in my experience, it's more accurate and precise to say a frightened part of my personality
Writing
became
part
active,
of,
a
yep.
frightened part of my personality. So you don't use those powerful words, I am, and then put jealous after it. You can do that too. But it is more accurate to say a frightened part of my personality has become active and it feels jealous. And what does jealous feel like? Well, look in your throat, your chest, your solar plexus, and find the physical sensations you can locate there. You look at its thoughts that it's thinking, and you recognize them. And then you exercise choice. A responsible choice is one that creates consequences for which you are willing to assume responsibility. That's creating authentic power. But just to say, I'm dissolving in a sea of love. Life is a dance, and sometimes I'm triggered, and patients come and patients go, and all of that is so. But as your consciousness expands, so does your clarity. And you begin to see that each of your patients is a soul like you.
Yeah, exactly.
And that means that their path through life is as difficult and challenging as your own.
Right.
And when you see that, you become compassionate, which you are when you see that. Then the question becomes, how can I help that individual? Well, you have physical modalities. Medicine is a branch of science. Science is itself a modality. I can use that word. I'm sure there's better, but for the moment, science itself is an endeavor. It's a discipline. And it is limited to the five senses. It's empirical. If what you are dealing with can't be seen or touched or heard, it doesn't exist. Alberto, our dear friend, told me something interesting that he learned from shamans. He said they don't understand sickness. They don't even see it, and
Yeah.
they don't treat it.
Mhm.
They treat a person who's coughing. They treat a person whose body feels hot. They treat a person who can't breathe easily or without pain. They treat a person who can't walk straight. But they don't abstract from that. It must have a cause, and we'll label the cause as sickness. I hope I'm being clear, because as soon as Alberto told me, I realized it's so. He's not making this up. Shamans don't even see sickness. They don't heal sickness. They heal people who are in pain, people who need assistance, people. And that's what's missing from medicine, not from you and not from physicians like those that you know, but in a five-sensory world, people become things. And this is not a judgment. This is an observation. They are limited to what you can see, and that means their personality. It's male, female, old, young, brown, white, yellow, and we are attracted or repulsed to these characteristics of the personality.
Yeah.
It's a personality to personality interaction. That is the world of five sensory perception, the world that our species is leaving. And as we become multisensory, we begin to see that the personality in every case is analogous to a clothing, a suit of clothing that a soul has chosen to wear for its incarnation in the
Mhm.
earth. And when we are multisensory, we become more interested in what's wearing the suit than the suit.
So you're discussing it's like some of the challenges that you foresee what are some of the challenges that you foresee for individuals
I don't foresee challenges. I used to,
in societies in transitioning from a 5 sensory to a multi-sensory perception of
no,
existence?
no, I'll stand by what I said. They're not, from my perception, challenges. They're opportunities. They are
Ah,
showing us exactly what works and what doesn't, so we can say why. Why is that? And what's my relationship to it? Why is it that our healthcare system is dysfunctional? Everyone knows that. It's the most expensive in the world and the least effective. It is, I won't go into that because you're living it. You are a brilliant island. You are a green island, an oasis in that world, but you understand exactly what I'm saying.
mhm.
The same is true in our social structure of governance or education. All of them are dissolving as we become multisensory because they were built by 5 sensory humans on external power, on the perception of external power. They express external power. They teach external power. By that, I mean the ability to manipulate and control. And all of our new social structures will express and be built on and teach about the new power, authentic power, alignment of the personality with the soul and what it creates. And what it creates are harmony, co-op. These are the intentions of the soul: harmony and cooperation and sharing and reverence for life. So when you say, what do I foresee of the challenges that we face? That's what a lot of people are saying, maybe even most of them, but they're missing the picture. But as they are acquiring multisensory perception and listening to ideas such as from the people you are inviting, such as I, they're beginning to see that a challenge is an opportunity. An opportunity to what? To grow spiritually. Now, we say challenge a frightened part of the personality. That's what you can do. Challenge a frightened part and cultivate a loving part. But it doesn't mean go to combat with it. It means move beyond its control. A frightened part of your personality is strongly attractive, magnetically attractive and righteous. Every frightened part is
Mhm.
right. And it feels better if it can convince others that it's right, or force others to believe that it's right, or help others believe that it's right, so it will feel better about itself. That's the pursuit of external power. For example, you as a physician, if you have attachment to your patients thanking you, there's an element, there's a part of your personality that's in it and experiencing fear. Authentic power is the ability to move through the world with an empowered heart without attachment to the outcome. If one of your patients says, Robin, I've never felt this good before. You're a miracle worker. Does it taste sweet like candy in your mouth? Do you feel fulfilled and at ease? Or if they say, Robin, you are a quack. I've researched everything you're doing here, and there is no scientific basis for it. And not only that, it doesn't work. I've been trying for 8 months, and I'm the same that I was,
Mhm.
and I'm going to tell everyone about you. Well, if that causes an emotional reaction, then again, it's activated a frightened part of your personality. There's a story I really like about a monk, a Buddhist monk in a Japanese village long ago. And a young girl in the village got pregnant. And when the village assembled, say, who's the father? Who did this? She said, the monk. And they were enraged. And they came to the monk and said, you hypocrite, you beast, you foul thing. And the monk said, is that so? Well, years passed, and the girl began to feel guilt, a lot of guilt about what she'd done. And she confessed that it wasn't the monk, it was him. And all of the village was in remorse. And they came to the monk and they said, oh, can you forgive us? And the monk said, is that so? The point of that story for me is what a philosopher would call equanimity.
Mm.
And what I would say is whether you are attached to the outcome of your efforts or not. Your efforts belong to you. You are responsible for your choices. Specifically, you are responsible for the energy that you bring to your choices your deeds and your words, but you are not responsible for what others experience when you interact with them. They are responsible for that. You do not have the power to make another person sad or happy or enraged. You have the ability to activate frightened and loving parts of their personalities, but it is for them to experience those reactions or those responses. You are responsible not for them, but for your choices, love or fear.
Yeah. Love or fear in every moment.
Pardon me?
love that word equanimity. I also love the word divine neutrality, like with a lot of life, day-to-day experiences.
I think I understand what you're saying when you use the word neutrality. And here again, since our time together is short just on this podcast, although we'll probably see each other again,
Yes.
the word neutrality can't be understood apart from the word judgment. There's this and there's that. There's good or there's bad. And it's here that you say, I'm neutral. No, you're not. You're never neutral. You are a powerful and creative, compassionate and loving spirit, and you are creating at each moment. What you are creating is not good or bad. It is an effect. Every time you choose an intention, you are creating, that is a cause, and it is creating an effect.
Mhm.
And if you participate in the cause, which you do, you will participate also in the effect.
Yeah.
So it's not divine neutrality.
Well, I'm with how it feels to me that like a non-dual, I'm compassionate, when things
Yes,
happen in the
yes,
world,
yes,
that I'm saying divine neutrality means like I'm staying in my soulful, powerful, passionate, connected self. I'm not letting, and I'm not feeling, it's not taking me into fear. I'm staying in love.
yes.
To me, that's love. Divine neutrality is a word I use for love. Like I'm just staying
Well,
present here now.
well, you can always experiment with using love,
Yeah, I could
and
just stay in my
and
stay
also
in my heart.
you can. It's and this is not a matter of semantics. Words carry consciousness. You are consciousness.
Right.
And the word divine is much larger than as a descriptor of a judgment.
Mhm.
We are divine, if you want to use that word divine. It's a loaded word, but if it means to you wisdom and love, boundless, if it means words are difficult here, because divine is not a reaction, it is not a response. Divine
It's a
is, there is
being.
nothing. What is being?
Love is being. Divine is being, being here now in this, in the accelerated energies of this moment is flow.
Yeah. Well, again, these are just my perceptions, but everything is divine. Everything is a miracle.
Yep.
Um, and whether it's a real estate salesman who isn't presenting a property with integrity, or an ICU nurse who's giving her whole attention and heart to helping you recover, both of those are divine. There's nothing that isn't. And as you say, I agree with you. That means love.
Mhm.
There's nothing that's not love.
Mhm. Wow.
And it,
This
but thank you.
this authentic power and all that you're, talking about in your latest work about the evolution of humanity. I mean, we're at it's an awakening time that we have this choice. And like, I think this is one of the most important statements of all in every moment, no matter to choose love or choose fear.
Yes, I agree with you. Exactly. Exactly. That's the takeaway. And all the rest is how to do it.
Yeah. You want to share a
And
little bit more
so,
about that?
indeed, I'll just say some more of what I've said. It requires emotional awareness
Yeah.
and responsible choice. You can also consult intuition. This is a part of multisensory perception.
Mhm.
Intuition is the voice of the non-physical world, and everyone has non-physical teachers. Five sensory humans have non-physical teachers, but because of the limitations of their perception, they're not aware of that. But multisensory humans are, and we can gain from a conscious interaction with non-physical teachers. That's with a capital T. And non-physical teachers can provide us with wisdom and compassion that are beyond what we can give to one another.
Yeah.
So, Robin, I'm so grateful to you for allowing me to spend all this time
This has
with
been amazing.
with your
I just,
ones.
yeah, amazing. I love my tribe here. And I just know that so many people are just so excited to hear our conversation today. I'm just wondering, what are your words, departing words that you'd like to share with everybody here who's really listening to this conversation and they're like, yeah, this sounds good. This love versus fear. But yeah, I'm scared. It's this scary time to be alive on the planet, and they're really, really concerned for themselves and their families and their young kids. What would you have to say to all those people that are listening here?
When you try to change the world, you're acting from fear. If you're trying to change it to make yourself feel better. If you want to change the world, then do it where it counts, in you. From a 5 sensory perspective, that's nonsense. Let me put it this way. From the old consciousness, there is within each 5 sensory human, an unclimbable, uncrossable barrier between in here and out there. And that is why 5 sensory humans cannot grasp any relationship at all between internal transformation and external change, external transformation. That barrier is not part of the new consciousness. There is no difference between in here and out there. And when you see that the only way to change the world is to change yourself. So I would suggest that you experiment with this. I experiment not with this, but with your life. What can you apply to it? Here I am. I'm a parent. I'm concerned about my job, about politics, about incivility, about the resurgence of a pandemic. All of those experiences are experiences of fear.
Yeah.
They come from frightened parts of your personality.
Mm-hmm.
Other parts of your personality will look at the same circumstances differently. They'll see differently. Their concern will be not with changing the world so they'll feel better about themselves, but their concern will be for contributing instead of taking, or giving instead of exploiting, or being able to love without attachment.
Mm-hmm.
I would say to everyone who's listening, what is your takeaway? Not the takeaway of a frightened part of your personality that's cynical, or frightened, which is the same thing. Frightened is also the same thing. What is the takeaway? What is the most significant thing about yourself that you've learned from listening to Robin and me? What is the most significant thing that you've learned about yourself that you can use to move yourself in the direction of love that you've heard Robin and me discuss?
Thank you so much, Gary. So where can people find out more about you?
Oh, yes. You can come to our website. It's named after the book, theseatofthesoul.com.
Mm-hmm.
That's the SEAT, like what you sit on, of the SOUL. And there's tools and things there that can support you. We've just started a program called An Evening with Gary Zukav. That's a subscription program. You have to pay for that. And for an hour each month, I love getting together with the people who are there and answering questions. Because what I love doing most of all is answering questions from people whose hearts are open. Not so much intellectual questions, like, do you think that devices or huge factories that can extract CO2 from the air and put it into the ground permanently will help with the climate crisis? No, I do not. In a way, they do, of course. But what created the climate crisis? We did. Fear did. Unconscious intentions did. And the climate crisis will continue to be here until we create differently. Now we are realizing that it's real, and we're beginning to create differently. We have electric cars, but instead of arguing, is that really an advancement? I mean, what is the environmental footprint of electricity? And lithium is very expensive and in a lot of ways to mine. and contributes to pollution. So are all of the electric vehicles in the world now contributing? Was the intention really to clean the environment, or was it to profit from a new product? I don't know. That depends on the president or the stockholder who bought shares in a company. In other words, it depends on you. It depends on you whether you are contributing to the reversal of our climate, what could become our climate catastrophe. Not a catastrophe for our climate. That's a meteorological phenomenon. Not a catastrophe for our planet. The Earth is a living being that hosts a co-creative species, and that is we. It will be a catastrophe for us, but not a catastrophe. That again is a perception of fear. It will be an opportunity for us to look deeply at what we have contributed to this. Can we really continue to be? Can I really continue to be as I am without challenging my fear and realizing that that is what I am contributing to the world and expect the world to change? Well, these are questions that you can consider. And so there's the seatofthesoul.com and lots of things on there, everything from discussions from AI to medicine. But this is the important thing, love and fear. Can you recognize them in yourself and choose love? If not, why? If not, develop the ability and see for yourself what that creates in you and what that creates in the world around you.
Thank you so much, Gary. I think what you're alluding to, too, that your most recent book, The Universal Human, would be a really great one for people to go deeper into this
Oh, thank you.
whole
Yes,
discussion that
thank you.
we've had today. And for me to reread Seed of the Soul, that was wonderful, Gary. That's something that came into my life about two decades ago, and the Universal Human now. And I just, this is our time. This is our time to live from our hearts.
Yes, I would suggest that you read Seed of the Soul again, because your eyes are different now, your consciousness is different, your values are different, you are different, and you will see things in it that you didn't see before, and they might be helpful, especially in terms of anything you're doing. Yes.
For everyone, you're saying that too. Because I read it a second time. So yeah, this is a great invitation for all of us to go back to, if that The Seed of the Soul had an impact on you when it first came out, and read it again. It's amazing. And then also Becoming a Universal Human, that was really impactful too. And I want to say thank you to you, Gary. I want to thank you to Linda. One of the things that's so amazing about being in your presence and how you've talked about your beloved wife, Linda, like, she's here with us today. She's here with us too. And that's it's so cool. I mean, I feel it more than you, than just about anybody, how her presence infuses your life. Because
Yes, like it did when we were in the Earth School together, but her presence is in my life, just the way I am in your life now. And we were married, that it comes and goes with the Earth School, but we are spiritual partners. That has always been our connection and our relationship since we came together. And spiritual partnership, there's a book on that too. Spiritual partnership is a partnership between equals for the purpose of spiritual growth. And all of this is for you to explore as you choose. Eventually, you will. You were born in order to learn love, what it is, how to create it, how to live it, and then to take a step beyond that, how to be it.
So much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Being with us here today, Gary. Soulful, beautiful brother. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for your love. Thank you for being a mirror of who we really are, is love, right? Yeah. Amen to love. Thank you.
What did you think of today's show? Let us know when you write your review and subscribe on iTunes or Stitcher today. Receive your chance to win a VIP day, $10,000 value with Dr. Robin Benson. When you review and subscribe with your name, we enter you in a drawing for a VIP day at the Brain Optimization and Body Regeneration Studio in Santa Fe, New Mexico. Get ready to experience the latest science to feel and look younger in your body naturally.